welcome to our channel of nutrition. Before that, we'd like to wish you all Happy Chinese New Year! Yes, today is Choyap. Yeah,
first day of Chinese New Year.
Yes, but let me introduce myself. I'm nutritionist Wenxin.
I'm Sweti here.
Yeah, we've been doing our nutrition for maybe 1 year already.
Almost.
And I think some of you might know who are we.
Yeah.
Yes, and today the topic for today is about enzymes. Sheke, can you tell our audience what are we going to discuss about enzyme today?
Let's see what is our title today first.
Yes.
Our title today is about food enzyme, hoax of real. I think quite many people are quite curious about this topic, especially during this festive season. Everybody is always feasting, eating a lot of food. Then they will always feel like too full. And then they were looking for something to relieve this fullness. And
some people might think, I want to remove my oil, I want to slim down, and they started to ask for, what kind of product is good for this? Then their friends may introduce, you should eat what brand XXX products, including some enzymes. But some of you may wonder, what is enzyme? Is it really that magical? Is it just a myth, a lie, an extra thing that do not need to be taken?
And how it works to your fat?
Yes, but before we reveal the answer to you, let us tell you more about what is enzyme. This is the first question.
Yeah. So know more about enzyme. What are the enzymes here? Enzymes are actually the proteins that are functional to speed out the reactions. Basically, they work as a catalyst to speed up your food digestion, food absorptions. So it speed out this process to make it more efficiency.
Yes, actually we need enzymes for all of chemical reactions in our body. For example, maybe without enzyme, maybe your body have to take 3 hours to digest this food. But with enzyme, it speed up the reaction. Maybe 1 hour, it can help to break down the foods already. So enzyme is actually very important. They are also known as the light bulb of our light. To light up our light, because without enzyme, we'll be like slow-mo, like
in the dark.
Like sloth. Every reaction in our body will be very slow. So it is very important. It's a biocatalyst.
So what is the characteristic of enzyme here? Human body can produce enzyme.
Yes, actually, human body, we have this power to produce enzyme on, for example, like some organs like the pancreas, the liver, even in our mouth, the saliva contains enzyme. I think many of us may have this thought before. When you're eating something, you're eating rice. After you chew it for maybe a few seconds to 1 minute, you feel that the rice becomes to turn sweet inside your mouth. Why is the answer behind this phenomenon?
Maybe because of the enzyme that helps to speed up the reaction. Actually, the digestion is start occurring in your mouth already. But I think most of the people didn't realize about this because a lot of people didn't chew properly. Then straight away swallow those rice into your stomachs.
Yeah, but I don't really have this experience because I'm kind of a slow chewing person. When I eat something, I have to chew for quite a long time. Only I'm able to swallow. That's why I have come up with this question before. So actually, our mouth, our saliva gland will produce an enzyme called amylase. Then the amylase, like for example, rice is kind of starchy carbohydrate food. So the amylase will help to break down this starch, the carbohydrate, into smaller particles of sugar. That's why it will start to become sweet after some chewing.
Basically, it just breaks down the rice into smaller particles. That's why you can taste more of the rice. So but it doesn't mean that you just digest at your mouth like that.
It's just one of the first step, because throughout our gut from mouth to the anus, there's a lot of process there.
There's only first process. So that's one of the enzyme that human can produce. So the next one will be 3 main categories of enzymes. So just now we're talking about the enzyme that human can produce, but in fact there are 3 types of enzyme. What are they actually?
So the first one is dietary enzyme, digestive enzyme, and metabolic enzyme. So now we have a graph visual showing you a little more detail what are they. So dietary enzyme, actually, like the name it shows, dietary means from our food, isn't it? So it's basically, yes, it can be found in fresh and raw foods. No matter it's vegetables, fruits, and even meat, fish, chicken, they contain enzyme. But usually we don't recommend you to eat raw chicken or poultry meat because they have a higher risk of this cross-contamination, the bacterial infection compared to vegetable and fruits. But for vegetable and fruits, as long as you choose those fresh one, maybe organic one with lesser pesticide and those herbicides.
You have to wash it properly.
Yes, wash it properly. Then it's quite safe to eat them in raw. And when you eaten them in a raw form, you can get the enzymes in this food.
So what are there? For example, we can find in like, let's say papaya. Papaya have the natural enzyme called papains. Actually, you can just like tenderize your meat using those natural enzymes.
Actually, quite a lot of food they contain this natural enzyme, quite a strong digestive enzyme. For example, pineapple contains bromelain. Bromelain also can help to tenderize the meat.
Yeah.
And some fermented food products, for example, kimchi, miso, actually many of the fermented food, they also contains enzymes.
So these are what we call the natural enzyme in the raw fruit and vegetable, which is that humans can't produce by ourselves. So this is an extra source of this.
Yes. Next one we have digestive enzymes. So as the name shows, it helps to digest. For example, because we eat a lot of foods throughout our day. We eat those carbohydrate food, protein food, and those oily food. But each kind of the nutrients needs a specific enzymes help to break them down into smaller molecules. That's why we can absorb. So this digestive enzyme, it helps to do this job.
Yeah, so that means this is the kind of enzyme that human being produce themselves, right? So how it's going out is actually like those I explained just now, is a complicated food nutrients from our food intake. Then you will just like breaking down into smaller particles that can be absorbed.
Yeah. The enzyme is like scissors, just cut those things into smaller.
Yeah, it
speed
up the reaction, like we say just now, speed up the reaction to breaking down into smaller particles.
Just like when the mother want to prepare food for their smaller kids, then we will like chop it into smaller pieces, so then it's easier to chew and
to swallow. Yeah. So the third one is metabolic enzyme in human body. So what are these enzyme working? Basically, they are just like make the nutrients particles in the stomachs and intestines to transform into energy that can be utilized by the body.
Yeah, for example, after your food having breaking down the smaller unit, for example, sugar, then how this sugar is going to be transformed into energy that your body can use. So it's through these metabolic enzymes. So we know that actually there are generally the three kinds of enzymes in our life, in the food and in our body. Some they are in food, some they are like digestive enzyme. They can be both produced in our body or found in dietary food. But metabolic enzyme they only contain in our own body. Yes. So let us proceed to our next point of this enzyme tips.
Yep. So you have to know that enzymes are actually functionally specific. Just like Wenxin mentioned just now, every enzyme actually they have their own function specifically to that kind of maybe specific particles. So just like proteins, you need proteins to break them down into the smaller particles until you get the amino acids so that your body can absorb it easily. So you can't just use amylase to break down the proteins. Amylase is for carbohydrates. So it's everything is like very specific, just like the key and the lock.
Yeah, that is described in the key and lock mechanism, isn't it?
Yes, you have to need the specific key to open the certain lock. So you can't be like one key, like the master key to open all the locks. You can't do it that way in enzyme.
Yes, for example, like only protease can break down protein food. Like only my house key can open my house door. Shake key can't open my house door. Shake is maybe like amylase to digest the carbohydrate food. So when you're looking for partners, try to look for with enzyme characteristics. So he only likes you.
Everyone is unique. Okay.
Yes.
So the next characteristic of enzyme are enzyme become less active and at low temperature and will be killed at above 40 degrees Celsius. Why is 40 degrees Celsius?
Actually, we know, just now we mentioned that our body contains enzyme. Enzyme is a protein. So actually protein, if you look it deeper, all those molecules have their structure.
Yes.
So if they want to have perform the specific function, it has to be in a specific structure. But when in high temperature, like after 40 degrees, then the structure will break down. That means that the enzyme is like killed. It's being killed by the high temperature. It cannot function as it was should be.
The denature, we call it denature the enzyme, whereby it just look like change the shape of the lock. So your key cannot just open the lock.
Yeah, maybe your key already dented a bit.
Yeah.
Then
so
you can't open it.
Yeah, that's why that you have to beware of that, because when why 40 degrees Celsius, other than because higher temperature you might denature the enzyme, is because normal human temperature is basically like 37 to 37.5. So if you get higher than that, then you might get fever. So that's why you may have denatured some of your enzyme and affect your digestion system all the way. So that's the nature of the enzyme of especially in the human body.
Yes, but in a lower temperature, for example, like chilling or freezing, the enzymes won't be killed, but inactive.
Yeah.
Like for example, like if I put you into a freezer and a chiller, then you will die lah. But maybe you'll be your body hibernate. Maybe a polar bear will hibernate lah.
Yeah, just like so if you are going to hibernate in the cool season there, then so as your enzyme as well, they will just hibernate and be just very inactive, so that just won't going to work and start the reaction.
But if you started to increase the temperature to their moderate one, maybe 37 in body, then the enzyme will start to become active again.
Yeah, wake up already. Alright, the next. Lactose intolerance and low alcohol tolerance are related to enzyme.
Wow, because we know that many, like I think especially Asians,
have this problem.
Asian adults have this problem, lactose intolerance. They can't drink dairy milk, they have bloated stomach, they have diarrhea.
Yes.
So actually, you know, if those lactose intolerant people, they will look for lactose-free milk, or those treated with lactase already, because lactase is the enzyme that helps to break down the milk sugar, lactose. Then only that you can be easier to digest the food. So another one is alcohol tolerance. Some people are born naturally with higher alcohol tolerance.
Yes.
Yeah,
this means they can drink a lot and they won't get drunk.
Yeah, this is genetically problem, because some people they have less these enzymes that helps to break down alcohol. That's why they will have a lower alcohol tolerance.
So you will see some people just drink a little bit, maybe a sip, then one sip, then they will just get red all the face. Yeah, so that means they can't tolerate the alcohol, so better drink less. Especially during this festive season.
But now I think more people have become more concerned with these health issues, like less alcohol. I think because some of my friends, they already replaced maybe half of their alcohol at home with those healthier drink, like juice, like tea.
That's a wise choice, but maybe not everyone will do that. Especially some will give you the excuse that this is the only festive season that I can drink alcohol, and they will drink a lot. But
but if you're gonna drink, take less. 1 or 2 per day is already maximum.
Don't overdose. Okay, so the last characteristic of enzyme is enzyme can be tenderizer in kitchens or even in washing powder. What is surprisingly?
Yes, surprisingly, enzymes not only can be used in food, like meat tenderizer, because some people, if they do not really know how to cook the very rough meat, like red meat, then they will use this enzyme powder. They bought it from the store as a meat tenderizer. Then after apply this meat tenderizer, they do not need to cook that
a long time to make it become soft and chewy. So this is quite a trick, right? I mean, in the kitchens. Yeah.
type of things.
So fasten, like we say, enzyme is kind of catalyst to speed up the chemical reaction. So it speed out the process so that you can make the meats tender faster, so that you don't have to cook a very long time to make it really cook. And then what about the washing powder?
Yeah, can you imagine enzymes in your washing machine?
Yeah, we talking about eating, digesting, and then meats. Then we jump into washing powder.
This is because we know our clothes sometimes we'll be getting into some stains, food stains, oil, maybe some
Blood
soup,
stain.
blood, all these things. Like oil is oily things, like blood is protein.
Yeah,
some
very difficult to wash away.
Yeah, it's very difficult to wash away. So some laundry detergent, washing powder, they add enzymes into their powder, the detergent. Then it can speed up the stain removal process. So you won't need to like soak for a very long time. You just have to use the powder detergent with this enzyme. They will like kind of label with bio thing lah. Then you know that they have added enzyme inside.
I think it's quite a new thing in Malaysia. I mean, not really common. I believe there is some of that in the market already, but maybe because of the price or I don't know, maybe people didn't know the function of it, so that's why it's not that common. But actually, it's quite a good thing. It saves time and more eco-safely, I think.
Yeah, because you save your time, save maybe your water, your soap, your detergent.
Make your washing experience
It's quite a
more.
good innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after we are introducing about like knowing more about enzymes, now you know enzymes are protein and what they do. But let's get back to our question. So, do we really need to take enzyme products? Like those market are saying, oh, enzyme can help in this and that. You should buy this, buy that. Is it true?
Are they real?
Yes.
So,
The answer is
next slide, let's have a look.
so. Actually, whether or not you need to take enzyme supplements is depending on your own situation.
Yes.
For example, some people might need it, like very busy people, because we know, and there's a saying that our enzymes our production of enzyme in our body will get lower when we age. Means that it's quite a similar concept with collagen. You know, when we are aging, our collagen production and body will reduces how many percent per year. So it's quite similar with enzyme too. So when you're getting older, your enzyme production maybe is not that active. So that's why you have started to have these digestive problems or other health problems start to come out, rise up already.
Kind of sad thing when we're talking about this aging during the first day of Chinese New Year, but that's why you have to know it, then you have to prevent it from you are young, alright? So then there are a few factors that actually cause your enzyme losing your enzyme or deficiencies more quickly. What are those factors actually?
Yeah, first one, living under pressure. Like for example, those with depression, with anxiety or unhealthy lifestyles, they have high risk in enzyme deficiency, because we know not every enzyme actually living in this kind of very negative emotions. When our body is in a stress condition, it will produce a lot of free radicals. Then these free radicals will like start to
Damaging
damaging our cells, including enzymes.
Okay, yeah, enzyme are also one of the cell, the protein cell inside your body, right?
Yes, they are protein.
So that's why I think most of us are living in this situation quite some time already, especially during these pandemics occurs then, and especially in Malaysia there's a long time of MCO. So everyone must be very inactive. The first one.
Couch potato. Watching Netflix all day.
You can't go outdoors, and then you stay at home, and then you are very stressed, and then you must be very depressed as well, even though during this Chinese New Year. But try to get cheerful and connecting to your friends and families, even through your mobile phone, through networks. So just feel connected. So we are all will still be with you always. Okay?
Yes. Next we have dietary factors, which include pesticide contamination or artificial food additive. You know, our food nowadays is like toxic.
Why you say so? Food are toxic, then why are we eating?
Most of the food nowadays in the market, they have added with a lot of additive, food additive, even though they are regarded as safe. Means that
Yeah.
when you eat this food, it won't kill you off instantly.
Yes.
But whether it will affect you in a long-term consequence is still
unknown.
Unknown,
But
yes.
it always depends on the dosage you taken and the period of time lah. So especially though we always say that those processed food. Yeah. Then why we call it processed food? Because we want them to like have a long shelf life. Then we must have added in some like preservative. Then we want it to taste tasty.
Yeah, we want them to look more appealing, like those processed meat, sausage, they added with nitrates to preserve it and to preserve the color as well. Because we know
Not very
sausage,
attractive.
they all look the same color, red color, isn't it? Why?
how come?
Because they add something inside to make it stay that color for a long time. But these nitrates actually, after you are digested in our body, it will transform into a carcinogenic compounds.
Oops.
So it's less processed foods, okay?
Yeah. Alright, so that's why if you eat a lot of like those like processed food, then maybe one of the causes that cause your enzyme deficiency. So and then pesticide contamination, I think most of the fruit and vegetables.
Because now we know that now those agriculture, they are growing in a large scale, so they need to apply a lot of pesticide, herbicide to remove the pests, the
pest
grass.
control.
Yeah.
So that's why, but we can't avoid that sometimes when we get from market. So wash it properly in maybe especially the running water. Wash it like about like 5 to 10 minutes with running water. Don't just like soak into the salt water. Some I think housewife, mommy, they just like, I just soak into the salt water, so it's better and secure. So before you're doing that, so make sure that you have washing it under the running water for 5 to 10 minutes before you soak. Otherwise, those like pesticide will just soak together into the water.
Yes, and as an alternative, you can buy those natural and organic fruits and vegetables because they certainly contain less contamination from these pesticide and herbicides. Okay, let's get into our environmental factors.
Okay.
Like we have exhaust fumes, heavy metal contamination, UV ray from the sun, and radiation pollution.
This is what we can't control. So
Yes.
that's why when we call it environmental factor, so the big environment it would like that. So how are we going to prevent it from those factors? We can't do anything, right?
I think you can at least try a little your effort to prevent. For example, like exhaust fume, maybe you can wear mask, and then UV ray from the sun, you can wear sunscreen. You can use umbrella.
Especially when you stay indoor now, actually you just like cover properly from this environmental factor mentioned here, right? And
then heavy metals contamination. So like I think most of the source from food, I think is fish. Deep, larger fish because
deep water fish.
Yeah, deep water fish, they contains more heavy metal contamination compared to those smaller fish. So when you are choosing them wisely.
Yeah.
Okay, last one we have viral infection or chronic inflammation. So I think it's quite similar with the radical thing. When you have infection, if you have inflammation, then it will affect your cell's health, DNA. Yeah, you know, DNA, actually the enzyme is a protein. How protein is being produced is it has to be gone through with the DNA. The DNA helps you to synthesize everything in your body.
Okay.
So DNA is being damaged or maybe structure is not that well, then your production of enzyme will be affected too.
Yeah, because chronic inflammation is what we always worry because like chronic disease is because of chronic inflammation that you didn't aware, but actually your body inside starts this kind of inflammations and you're getting worse of your health. So have to be aware of it.
Yeah, for example, I think many chronic diseases are related to this chronic inflammation, like even asthma. Asthma, the cardiovascular disease, they are all related. And even inflammation in your teeth, in your gums. Can cause that inflammation throughout the whole body too.
That's scary.
Yes.
So this is quite an obvious inflammation. Just like sometimes when you say obesity, it's also one of the chronic disease in Malaysia,
Big problem.
Yeah, so some people may just think, oh, just all best what, but you didn't know that internally what happened to your body.
It's not only your body, it will affect your whole life, your family members, because they have to take care of you. So be very wise on your food choice and your lifestyle, and really take on charge on your own health.
Then how can enzyme helps on this issue? Basically, so let's see the next slide. So those people with enzyme deficiency, basically, if you're exposed to the factor just now we mentioned, then you maybe have to be aware of it. See, are you one of these?
Yeah, we will make this list to make you a little bit clearer. Are you belongs to the group that needs to take food enzymes, like food enzyme supplement? So the first one.
It's a time to boost your enzyme if you are rarely consume fresh vegetable and fruits.
Yeah, just now I say those fresh raw vegetable and fruits, they contain enzymes and all sorts of very beneficial nutrients. So if you those kind of people that eat processed food a lot, always Maggi mee lah, not Maggi mee lah, instant noodles lah, or fast food lah.
Sausage.
No, even though you're eating vegetable just one lah, those kind of people.
One small serving, then a big portion of instant meat and sausage, then it's not considered healthy, even though you eat vegetable. But what we recommended a day is like 3 serving of vegetable a day, not just like one small portion only.
Yeah, because many of the kids and even adults when their parents ask like, hey, do you eat veggie? I got eat. I just one.
One scoop.
Yeah, so make sure you get enough portion of the vegetables you need every day.
Okay. So, and then if you have unhealthy food intake, always eat out and binge eating, just like we mentioned just now lah, just like have those like eating habit, like having the processed foods and instant noodles.
And talking about binge eating is related to our third point. Busy lifestyle, for example, eating too fast and didn't chew food properly. Like, binge eating, including those YouTube we like to watch, mukbang, the eating show. Do you notice all those eating shows when they eat, they kind of didn't chew, They just swallow. I was so surprised at how their stomach can withstand this kind of torture.
That's why their size are getting bigger.
Yeah, but some is still very slim. Maybe they have those hidden health issues we do not know.
Yeah, don't try to go in to do that.
Yeah, because we know when we chew, our saliva gland will release out the saliva. Then the saliva contains the enzyme to help to digest for the first step. First step digestion for your foods, those carbohydrate foods. So make sure you chew properly. I think at least 30 times. Do you ever count how many times you chew?
There's more tiring than chewing 30 times, counting 30 times.
Because last time I read a book saying that you should chew at least 30 times, and if 60 times is even better. Then I started counting.
It's so tiring.
It's really quite tiring, but no need to really count that. Just make sure you chew it until they becomes mesh.
Yeah, until really it's really small particle, until you can continue to chew, so that will be enough. Right? You don't have to really count 30 times. What if you chew 30 times, then it's still in a large particle?
I think that they make it this because they want to, because many people are aware of what either they are chewing or not when they're eating. Especially if they are eating when watching TVs,
they can't realize.
Playing with their phones, they really don't realize what they're doing. They just maybe swallow, and finish already.
They even don't know what they are eating, I think.
Yeah. So it's just a very kind advice.
And at that situation, then you will eat a lot more than usual. Because you didn't realize how much you're eating, what you are eating, you just continue eating. Even though you are full, you still keep eating. Yeah, so that's why that better not to do this.
And when you didn't chew it properly, and when the foods get into your stomach, then your stomach will cry because the stomach don't have teeth. Your stomach is just like a wall of muscle. Because we know the teeth they can really grind the food into smaller particles. Your stomach is just like a wall of muscle. It really can't really
your
smash
gastric
as
juice
well
can't
as your
make
teeth.
into smaller particle like that.
Yes, that's why you have a lot of digestive problem if you didn't chew.
So you will start get bloating. Then you're suffering for that because you have a lot of large particle food stuck in your stomachs and you can't digest it properly. So that's why even though if you have the enzyme, you can't work properly.
Yes.
Because there are too large particles that can't like breaking down into the smaller pieces at once. So better chew properly.
Please take care of your enzyme, take care of your stomach, chew properly.
Right, okay, the next one.
Elderlies with digestion and chewing problem.
Yeah, unless you have this problem, you are aging, then you don't have teeth, then you might have this issue, then what to do if you don't have like good teeth to
For example, like
chewing.
for food preparation, if for those elderlies with this problem, of course we will prepare the food really smaller. For example, like vegetables, we chop it into smaller, so it can easier for them to chew, to absorb, and they can take some raw fruits, raw vegetable, because those foods also contains the dietary enzymes, help them to digest better.
But I think raw vegetables, some of them might not be able to chew because some is too crunchy. So if you can like steam it into softer texture.
I think like some kind of lettuce is quite okay lah.
Yeah,
Tomatoes, cucumber a bit crunchy.
Yeah. So it depends on
Of course
what
not
type of
carrot.
vegetable.
Carrot is quite hard.
Even a teenager also cannot just like bite right there.
Slice it.
Yeah, maybe you have to slice it into smaller
I
one.
think drinking fruit juice also nice one.
Yeah, but this one is like with the condition that you don't added any extra sugars, and then it's just for those who have like, especially those with the chewing problems.
Yeah.
So if you are healthy, you have a healthy teeth too, so just use it, okay? Just chew it, have those like fresh vegetable and fruits better than just fruit juice. Okay?
Yes.
The next one, frequent constipations.
So actually constipation is also a sign your gut is telling you
Something wrong.
something wrong.
With
you
your
may
digestion.
not digest well and absorb well.
And that's one of the excuses that giving that to have those like enzyme products. I have to drink this enzyme drink because I have constipation instead of like eating properly.
But actually, is it good for you to take extra enzyme supplement or enzyme drink? But for your normal diet, you still have to take in a lot of fiber food from vegetables, from fruits, from whole grains. So those all supplements are just complementary substance.
Yeah, true. So just don't rely on those like extra supplements lah. Better than if your stomachs and your intestine are still working well. Alright, so the next one, suboptimum health.
The kind of people that are not so healthy, or maybe some people they have undergone some procedure, surgery, have their pancreas removed, have their liver, maybe liver is not healthy anymore. Then their production of enzyme in their body is certainly lower. That's why they will facing with the digestive issue more frequently.
So that's why they may have this kind of problem as well, right? So the last one, smoking.
So we know tobacco, it contains I don't know how many types of those toxic compounds, and similar as alcohol, these toxic compounds will damage your cells, your DNA, and that's why you'll be unhealthy, including rising with a lot of those indigestion.
Yeah, so some people might not able to relate why smoking and have to do with those like enzyme, but there's truth that the smoking contain those toxin substance that may damage yourself internally without you realize it. And the more obvious one will be damaging your lungs, your respiratory system, but even your organs, other organs just like your stomachs, those like enzyme inside as well. So just
don't smoke if you can, and prevent yourself to become secondhand smoker and even third-hand smoker. What is third hand smoker? Actually, third hand smoker is like, for example, we are going to a public place, maybe in the car. Maybe the previous customer have smoked inside the car, and those toxic compounds will attach in the car seat. So when you go into the car, you indirectly will inhale those toxic compounds. So then you are known as a third hand smoker.
So you have to choose like those non-smoking area. But I think public area is non-smoking area. So and then you can go outdoor now. So if possible, just stay away from these
high risk areas.
Yeah, and these unhealthy habits.
Yes. So in conclusion, now I told you whether. So you can make your own decision whether you need to take those enzyme supplements, whether in powder lah, capsule lah, or drink lah. So you know how to choose. And when you're choosing those enzyme supplements or products, remember to choose those with certifications. For example, like enzyme drink. Why we won't really recommend you to make it at home due to the hygiene problem, you know, because if you didn't wash your jar properly, because a lot of housewives, they are doing this, and fruit enzyme, maybe they're using papaya lah, pineapple, apples, added with sugar, and then let it ferment for maybe 1 to 3 months. Actually, they are okay as long as the whole procedure are done in a very hygiene. You wash the jar properly, you wash your hand properly, and then you close it properly without all those bacteria, pathogens going inside.
But the problem is you don't know whether there are really don't have microorganism that's just like groove together with your food enzyme inside the jar.
So it's also quite tricky. So if you really want to try those fruit enzyme drink, you can buy in the market. Choose those with good manufacturing procedure, those GMP, HACCP one, because of course with those certification they are a lot safer than you doing it.
Because they have to make sure the manufacturing places are clean and hygiene, so to avoid this kind of things to happen.
Yes, and also if you are buying those enzyme powder, enzyme capsule, so also take it in moderation. Don't really rely it for your whole life. It's not good to rely on anything.
But in fact, those powders or any kind of capsule of enzyme, it can't give you those reliable effects, because it's just enzyme. It just help you to break down the food. In case once you stop using this kind of capsule or supplements of enzyme, you feel that your stomach feel suffer or indigestion. It bounce back to your previous condition. That means something wrong with that supplement. Because you can't just rely on this enzyme, because you should have your own enzymes in your body. So this is just like complementary to up to your own health. So it shouldn't give this kind of effects. So beware of the ingredients of what you are buying from.
And don't trust all those statements saying that this enzyme can help you to slim down in 1 week or 1 month. Those are all fake news.
So just be responsible to your own self. So find those manufacturers that are really responsible to your health.
Yes, so our title, food enzyme, hoax or real, we have the answer for you. Enzymes, they are really beneficial as long as you use them in moderation and as needed.
Yes, true.
So I think that's all from us today for Own Nutrition. So today is just the first day for your CNY. We still have chore tomorrow, and then Monday is public holiday. Some community they will have their staff to take holiday as well.
So you still can enjoy your Chinese New Year at home, and then that's all for us now. So just wishing you Happy New Year!
Bye bye!